Okay. I'm not gonna lie, I started reading this and started getting goosebumps. I love Maya Angelou and her poems. It's like the pride that this woman has. I want to find that one day. Like, I'm not even talking about, like, I know she was inspirational when it comes to like um movements for people of color and everything like that, but in a lot of her poems, I feel like a lot of the times you sense pride. And the pride isn't just about the pride of her race or the pride of her being a woman. It's just this woman is just prideful to be her. Like in a lot of her poems, like especially this one, Still I Rise, it's this idea that no matter what's being pushed at me, it's tossed at me, I'm going to shine. And this is going to still be me. And I just love that shit. But yeah, here and there, I'm not going to lie because I like this poem. I will play around with the way that I'm reading it. I'm going to just keep it a buck with you guys. But yeah, let's get into it. Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may thread me in the very dirt, but still like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops weakened by my soulful cries. Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't take it awful hard, 'cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me down with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still like air, I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean leaping and wide. Welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise. I rise. I rise. God damn. See, it's like when you read a poem like that, it's like, how do you not feel good? Like, how do you see? I'm an empath, so maybe it's a little different because I can pick up on emotions, but you can't tell me you read that and you don't think this woman is happy. You can't tell me you read that and you don't think this is a woman that's been through a lot but overcame it. And when you read certain things like that, it's weird because I'm not sure if everybody is able to react to the same way, but I know some people understand the whole idea of being an empath and picking up on emotions. And the fact that at times you can even do that through somebody's words and work. But at times when I've heard somebody's voice, when I'm reading something, I read it in their voice. For the most part, it'll be my voice that I hear in my head. But whenever it's somebody that I know, certain things I read it in their voice. In other words, it becomes a little easier for me to attach emotions to what I think they're saying. Because as I'm reading these things, like, yeah, out loud, I'm saying a certain thing, but in my head, what I'm hearing is her voice and how she would be saying it. And then you pick up on that and you're like, yo, when she was done with this poem and she was reading it over and over again, how are you not proud of yourself? Like, you're telling me you finished writing this, like you knew it was going to be a banger. You read it and you're like, you read it to other people, they're like, how do you look at yourself in the mirror? How do you go to sleep well after that day? Like, I just wrote a poem and I know, like, it's going to be remembered for years, centuries. Like, that has to be a low flex. Like, William Shakespeare, you think he wasn't hyped this shit at times when he wrote a good play? Come on. People would admire his plays. I mean, at times during his time, some people hated him and stuff like that. And if you read his work, you'll understand that part. But what? I love that shit. A lot of people always had an issue with like Shakespeare because the majority of his work was tragedies. So it always ended bad. So there was never really a happy ending, which I'm not going to lie. I actually absolutely love that shit. And I'm going to just say this before we even cut this off. The last one by Maya Angelou, top tier, chef's kiss, right? But the one thing I will say that I appreciate about the fact that in terms of like the quality of his work in comparison to other great authors and poets, I get the fact that based off what you like, you may say he's not on par. Some people also believe Shakespeare is a woman. I'm going to just drop that and just keep it pushing. I just wanted to communicate that. But Yeah, I like the fact that it ends in tragedies. And it's like, but we like happy endings. Disney Channel, like happily ever after. That's an idea that's been engraved in our heads to want that so much. That's the kid in us. That's the part of us that's dreaming. And then for me, when I look at plays like Shakespeare's and it ends in a tragedy where it's like, shit, where's the happy ending? I like it because Disney Channel tells you you're supposed to dream. You're supposed to want that happily ever after. Shakespeare picks a person, like he picks a play and he adds a lot of characters that have a lot of flaws. Like somebody's tragic fall, they fatal flaw. Like he shows you somebody that flaw in that person that led to their end. There's an actual word for that. But you get to see this person. You get to understand them. And then there's the part where you see how this flaw leads to their end. How it leads them losing their dreams. Disney Channel tells you to dream. But then Shakespeare shows you what happens when you have flaws that keep you from getting that dream. And for me, that's what I've liked. It's never been like, oh, the story ends and everybody dies. You know, it's always been this person died because of this, because they were incapable of learning this lesson. Or maybe they learned it, but they were incapable of applying it because they weren't disciplined enough. And I like that shit. Like, I like the happy stuff, but the hard reality of certain things is something you do have to accept. And I think Shakespeare did a lot of that. Romeo and Juliet and stuff like that. If you tell me you did not see their flaw throughout the whole entire story and knew what would lead to their end, like once you knew it already and you had to go back and you could see all of those things, it was so obvious the events that happened and how they and what could have gone right if that person understood certain things about their flaws that led to the end. So yeah, I like the happy endings and shit like that. But the reason why I've always liked people opening up to me is there's a part of pain that honestly I find pleasure in knowing. Not like, oh, you're sad and I love that, but the idea that you're sad and you communicate some shit to me and I'm like, I fuck with it. But yeah, this is Poetry with Chance. Lessons at times are great. At times they're bad. They gotta get learned. And that's why I like both type of poetry and Disney Channel and shit like that. But yeah, I love the poetry thing. We're gonna keep on doing it and everything I promise will keep happening. Yes, sir. Ba-da-ba-ba-da.